really, I don't have a very strong opinion, except that it's very strange, I think, in that there are not very many filmed plays to compare this to. It's a very small sub-genre, I guess, of television or film production. There's Mary Martin's Peter Pan, and not a lot between that and this. It's really true. There was, I think in the 70s, there was a group of Hollywood people who got together and filmed 6 or 8 plays, and those were going to go into theaters. They had some kind of crazy, they were ahead of their time, I guess, in terms of how people were going to see those plays. And I know at the, Will Ferrell was filmed on Broadway. There are a few one-man shows, and there are plays here and there, but not too many. And this is a very ambitious production. I don't know how much of it will translate to the screen, but there are 15 puppeteers, there's all these puppets, there's all these actors, there are people backstage doing the voices of the puppets. Sometimes some of the people the actors in the show did most of the voices. There was one girl who does all the girl voices who doesn't appear on stage, but the male actors did some of the voices, and sometimes they appear on stage at the same time as a puppet that they voice is speaking, so occasionally there's a line recorded. But it's a very, very technically ambitious show. I hope it doesn't look like that, because that's the idea. But it was very, it was a hard show to translate and to film. And the way we filmed it for 2 days. We filmed one live performance at the very end, and for a day and a half up to that, we filmed it like you would film a movie or a television show. So we brought the cameras up on stage, and you're going to see a lot of angles here that you never see in what few filmed productions there are. You don't see these kind of angles and these kind of shots often, because usually the cameras are in the back of the house or down here. We had the luxury, since we weren't shooting all the time with an audience, of bringing cameras right up onto the stage and shooting angles that you never would see in some kind of a production like that. I love that story. I guess that's about all I have to say about it right now. I hope you like it. I'm very proud of it. I did want to tell you one other thing about it. The home box office, HBO, didn't really want to do this show originally. 30 years ago, I wrote this show with the cast that were in the show at the time, and a gentleman named Marty Callner, who, not coincidentally, is the director of this production also 30 years later. It's a very unusual story, I think. I don't know of another situation like that where there's a play. The guy talked home box office into taping the show. They absolutely didn't want to do it. He really went out on a limb and started my career, really. And 30 years later, they assigned it to him, and he came on, and we're doing the same. It's a vastly rewritten, I would say 70 to 80% of the material is new in this show, but the plot is the same, some of the characters are the same, some of the lines are the same, and the director is the same. So enjoy it, and be happy to answer all your questions afterwards. Thank you. It was all set up to a heroin joke, which also got cut really quick, which turned out to not be age appropriate. But to answer your question, the original show, I was very inspired by Rocky and Bullwinkle, amongst many, many other things. But that was the show for me that I saw as a kid and then saw again as an adult, and went, wait a minute, is this the same show? And I just saw these things I didn't get the first time around. And I loved that. I was obsessed with that at the time that I was creating Pee-wee Herman and Pee-wee's Playhouse. And so it was a situation for me where I aspired to that. I really wanted to try to do a show. At the time my show came out, Sesame Street had already been on for many years, and certainly filled a niche there that I felt like I'm not capable of that, plus I don't want to do that, and that's already taken care of. So I felt like I could do something for kids and be more just crazier and wrap whatever lesson we were going to try to teach or moral anything into kind of disguised in pure entertainment. So I feel like the original production of the Pee-wee Herman Show that started at the Groundlings Theater, again, it was a well, personally, I think the show got dirtier. I think this is a way dirtier production than I've ever done. And in fact, in between Los Angeles and New York, I came up with the idea to do the Eyes in the Dark, which immediately I knew, like, okay, I can put a lot of like kind of innuendo-y, dirty material in here. So I was really excited about that. And, but if you go back and look at the original, the Pee-wee Herman Show, there's a lot of double entendre, and there is in the kid show also. I mean, I don't feel like I really changed anything. We just always tried, I mean my friends and people who wrote on the show, who are also my friends, we always tried to figure out what's that line, you know, where is it too far to go? And really, for me, the rule of thumb for me was, what would be an inappropriate question a kid could ask their parents after seeing the show? And as I mentioned, I did a Q&A recently, 2 nights ago, and Judd Apatow, who is going to be the producer of the Pee-wee movie that we're writing right now, which I would give practically anything in the universe to tell you all right this minute what the plot of it is, but I can't. Honestly, I'm not being coy. No, I said this the other night too in the audience. I am like a kid with a secret. I have like the greatest idea for a movie, and Judd has signed off on it, and it's about, I'm halfway through the second act with a co-writer named Paul Rust, and it's so great. I'm beside myself to tell you. I'm not kidding. I really, I'm dying to tell somebody.
Can you give us a little hint? Anything?
And I can't. If I could, I would. But wait, I digressed. What? I knew it. What? Judd and the kid. What?
What, the questions?
Oh yeah, Judd said, when I said, you know, my rule of thumb is basically like, it's got to be something a kid isn't going to ask an uncomfortable question to the parents, and he said, like, abstinence? And I said, what do you mean? I said, well, what, so explain abstinence any way you want to a kid. He said, I haven't even given my kids a sex talk yet, so how do I explain abstinence? Which, I don't know, I didn't think of that really. So, not my problem. Just see it in the show? I'll do it, but I don't think that's a fair question. So somebody else has a question too. Here's the Pee-wee dance. Woo! I'll tell you something nobody knows. I've never told this anywhere, but the Pee-wee dance originated from a dirty joke that my father used to tell, which I don't remember the joke, but it involves switching from your thumb. I don't remember what the joke was. My father loved really infantile, dirty jokes. And there was one that had something to do with that, and it's not even similar to the Pee-wee dance. I don't know how at all, but that's the truth.
You heard it here first, folks. Right here, and that's going to be it.
Stars are bright.
What?
Oh, the stars are bright.
The stars are bright. We thought of that. I've been thinking about that every single minute since I've been here. I love Texas, I really do. I'm crazy about Texas.
Pee-wee is a timeless character. I was going to see if you maybe talk about coming up with that character itself.
How did I come up with the character of Pee-wee Herman? I was in an improv group, the Groundlings, and the character really just kind of came out one day. You know, it's based on, it's a voice from something and some behavior from a few other people, and a lot of made up stuff, pretty much.
All right, let's give a big South by Southwest.